Question number 5, Andrew Little.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Prime Minister. Does he stand by his statement that we are, quotes, on the cusp of something special, given the median Auckland house price has risen by $100,000 since January?
Wow. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, yes. As it related to the many opportunities New Zealand has under a national-led government, which I'd be more than happy to go through, but they include falling unemployment in New Zealand, rising growth in New Zealand, greater opportunities for New Zealand, a wealth effect that is going across the country, rising business confidence and consumer confidence, Mr Speaker, but also based on Real Estate Institute data, the median Auckland house prices increased by that amount since March 2015. That's an annual increase of just under 14%, which includes some months when the median price fell.
Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Given only 1 in 5 Aucklanders under 40 now own their own home, does he still think there is no crisis in home ownership in New Zealand?
The
Speaker,
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
It's a question that the Auckland house market generally has been rising a little faster than the government would want, and that's why the government's taken a wide range of steps which include helping 12,000 people through Kiwi Home Start. It's why we have seen the highest level of building consents now more than 11 years at 9,500. It's why we have had over 120 special housing areas in Auckland. It's why the government's trying to reform the RMA. It's why the government's tightened up the tax rules around the Bright Line test, Mr Speaker, and why the government's releasing land. These are all things that this government has done, while the previous government saw house prices double under their watch and did nothing about it.
Order. The answer is very long.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Is he so out of touch that he thinks most Kiwi families can save the $160,000 needed just for the deposit for a house in Auckland?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr Speaker, I think it's important to understand that a lot of first-time buyers won't go into a medium-priced house in Auckland. Many young couples will start in a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment in Auckland. That's consistent around large cities all over the world. There are still many homes in Auckland that are under 500,000. The government does support them through KiwiSaver, Home Start, and through good economic management that's seeing the lowest interest rates on display in the last 70 years in New Zealand. Everyone buys the median house price.
Order.
Which genius is it?
Order. Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Does his latest half-baked policy of a land tax on only foreign buyers mean his previous policies, which include discount nails, bright lines and building houses in cemeteries, have all failed?
Mr Speaker, the government has made a decision about applying land tax to foreigners, but what we have said is if people were concerned about the level of overseas ownership of New Zealand houses, that would be a far more effective model than the crazy idea that Labor's got of banning foreigners, because as we know, Australia's tried that and it didn't work.
Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Why let foreign speculators buy houses in New Zealand at all?
Well, Mr Speaker,
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
I think you'd find that the bulk of people who buy houses, my best guess, in New Zealand are people who live in New Zealand or have a connection to New Zealand. But we'll have much better information on that in the next few weeks.
Point of order, Mr Speaker.
Point of order. Order. Point of order, Andrew Little.
Mr Speaker, my question was about why let foreign speculators, not people who live
I'm
here.
going to invite the member to ask that question again. Right. Order. I don't need the help from Dr Lockwood-Smith. Dr Lexman. Probably don't need help from either of them. Andrew Little, supplementary question.
We still enjoy the help of Dr Lockwood-Smith even to this day. Why let foreign speculators buy Kiwi homes at all?
The Right Honourable Prime
Speaker,
Minister.
because we don't ask people specifically why they buy a property, because they buy them for a wide range of reasons. They may buy them to rent them, but because one day they want to move into them, or maybe that they want to holiday in them. But as I said, we will have a lot better information on this in the weeks and months and years to come, and we can make a call on whether we think this is a significant issue or not.
Supplementary.
Order. Supplementary question, Andrew Little.
Why won't he just stop faffing around and do what Labor would do, restore the Kiwi dream of home ownership by banning offshore speculators and building thousands of affordable homes for Kiwi families?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
I think the member needs to wake up and have a look at the facts, which were house prices doubled under the previous Labor government, interest rates were 11 or 12%, and inflation was out of control. That didn't help the property market one little bit.
Question number 6.